Guys, so it's a new day. You start now. So today is 8th, 9th. Let's get started. So today we're going to talk about these are the commands which we have it right now, and also we're going to talk about the Docker networking. So this is the important concept. Docker process, Docker container, process in system. Okay, so now these are the topics which I'm going to cover. So I hope you guys are practicing well. So now, with no more delay, I'm going to get my server. Okay, so today I'm going to use this machine. And let's log in. ec2-user sudo-s. I hope it's visible for everyone. Now, first things quickly, I'm going to start the engine installations, tutorials, Docker. Now, engine. Okay, and now I'm enabling the services. Yes, yes. Remember, guys, I have not started the Docker services. Okay, so be mindful about it. So now I'm going to talk about Docker networking. Okay, so how many kind of Docker networking we have? So basically, in the Docker Engine Community Edition, which supports three kind of networking. One is like Docker Community supports Community Edition supports three kinds of networking. Okay, what are those are? So one we call it driver bridge, another we call it host, third we call it null. So now what is this about the bridge, host and null? So bridge is a kind of network driver, which basically has CDIR set with subnets CIDR IP range is set. IP range is set with their subnets. And basically this releases the IP address, virtual IP address,
Rajesh, isn't it like CIDR? CIDR, right?
CIDR.
Yeah.
CIDR. CIDR. IP range is set with their subnets, and basically this releases the virtual IP address to each container. Okay. So basically this is the guy which basically has the CIDR range set and releases the containers a unique IP address, and it is a virtual bridge, actually virtual bridge which is created. It is a virtual bridge created by the Docker engine. So I did not started the Docker with some reason. So look at this here. Here what we have, if config. Now here we have Ethernet ETH0, which is from the AWS, and this is the interface, Ethernet interface. Now this is basically you have in the my VM, which I've got in AWS. Now when I start the Docker service, here I'm starting the Docker service, and now I do the if config one more time. If config one more time, and look at this Ethernet is still there, interface still there, but we have got something here, one more bridge. So bridge name, or the bridge which got created, is Docker 0. So Docker 0 is a default one which you get it, which has a bridge. When you start the Docker engine services, it's basically create the one default Docker 0 bridge, which basically manages the bridge. Okay, now using this they will release the IP address to all the containers and make it possible. So now this is the important one. So how many bridge you have? So the question is how many bridge BRIDG bridge you have by default. So basically by default you get one bridge. How do you come to know? You have tried Docker network ls, which is the bridge which has been created. Let me run this command, Docker network ls. Now see, here you have a bridge named with a bridge, driver is bridge. So this is the one which is created by the Docker engine when you started the Docker services. Okay, now another which you have, which was created by Docker engine, is a host, which is the second one, and third one is a null. Okay, so we'll talk about all this stuff. So now there are three kind of network mode which is supported. There are three kind of network driver which is supported. One is a bridge, other one is a host, other one is a null. So now what is the difference between bridge, host, and null? Let's discover it. So now what I'm going to do, I am going to clear the screen, and one more time I'm just going to remind you, I have a bridge named with bridge, host named with a host, null named with a null. Okay, so now I am going to run Docker run -itd and Ubuntu, that's all. So it's downloading the image. It's a fresh computer, fresh VM. So now I got the one container which I'm having right now. Now I want to know the IP address. So how to know the IP address of the container? You know that the command is, which we have run yesterday, Docker inspect Cunt ID. So now let's do that. Docker inspect cunt ID. Cunt ID is this one, and here IP address is this one. Let's describe here the IP address which I got it. So I'm running here one command docker run. Just a second. I'm also maintaining the node, so later you will not get lost. So I run ITD Ubuntu, and then after that you get the IP address, this one. Okay. Now you must be wondering, how come you got this IP address? Who has given this IP address? From where you got the IP address? If you look at this, I got the host machine IP address is Docker 0. This is the one. No, sorry. Host machine. This is the one. So see, if you look at the CIDR range, this one and this one is not at all matching. So how come you got this IP address? So now look at this here, Docker 0 CIDR range. Look at this subnet range. 172.17.0.2 is matching. Here netmask this one, broadcast this one. So here this matching. So basically this IP address which you got it from the cunt ID, it is released by the Docker 0 and bridge. How do you come to know? Let's figure it out. I just do one more time inspect container ID. Here you have a gateway. This is the one. Okay. Now let's figure it out. Gateway IP address is this one. Let's put it up here just for the notes. This is the one which you get it. Now look at the bridge. Here network is bridge. The name of the network is bridge. This is important value. Okay. Okay. So here, if you describe this container, the IP address is, the gateway is here, IP address is here, and network is bridge. So now let's do one thing. Let's clear the screen. Docker network ls. Now I'm going to describe this bridge. Let's see that. Inspect. You can describe the bridge also using inspect command. And look at this here. What is the CIDR range? This is one which is matching. If you look at this here, name is bridge which is matching. So that means this particular bridge which you have got it, network ls, this particular bridge has been giving the IP address to this container. So basically this bridge is the default bridge. By default, this bridge is assigning the IP address to this one when you create a container. So this is the default bridge which you got it the moment you started the Docker engine, and then you got this IP address assigned to this container. So let me create one more container. Let me create one more container. So this is the command to create one more container. Clear the screen here. Look at this, I got the one more container. And now if you look at this, this is the one which I got right now. Docker inspect dup. Now you see this incremented by 1. So earlier the container which you got 2, 0.2, now you got 0.3. Okay, so this is the way you can get the automatically IP address from the default bridge. Which is your default bridge? The default bridge is the bridge itself. The name of the bridge is bridge itself. So now you have bridge. Now you must be wondering how much maximum number of containers this bridge can create. That means how much maximum number of IP address this bridge can assign. So this is depend on the CIDR's range. So let's look at this. Here I inspect. This is a CIDR range which is set for this bridge. Let's do that CIDR calculator. It should be more than 65,000, but we have to verify. So let's look at this. And now if I type this, calculate, and look at this, this many total number of hosts you can get it. That means this many total number of containers it can be created using this bridge, right? So now this is the all about the bridge driver. Any questions, any doubts which you have?
So
Yes, I have one doubt. Can you access these IP address whatever created by these Docker containers from the outside from the browser, in the sense from the outside?
Can you access, the question is, let me write this question also. Can you access
These IP address from outside?
Container IP address outside of the
Network.
host machine. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I'll answer this one. Any other questions?
So if any, definitely we have if we have a server and we have a multiple ETH ports, like multiple networking ports, and we want to run the bridge connection from a different one. Like, can we run or it will be created automatically by Docker itself? Can we change it by our use?
Yeah. So it says, can we set the port for each container, and can we access from outside of the host? Is that the question?
No. Can we modify the actual created Docker bridge?
Can we modify the bridge? Basically, can we change the bridge? Is that question?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just answer this question. Any other questions? Okay, no questions. So now let me show you the real implementation. So now you know that there's one container which you have got with this IP address, and another container you got with this IP address. So all together you got this IP address. The question is, can I ping or access the containers from the host machine? Answer is yes. Let's look at this. I'm pinging. Here it's getting pinged. I'm pinging this one also. It's getting pinged. Now, can you ping from the container, within the container? So I have to go inside the container. Let's go. I'm going inside the container, Docker PS. Docker PS.
But Rajesh, can you ping from your actual host machine? I mean, like from your laptop?
I'll tell you. Just be with me. Okay. Just give me.
Sure. Okay.
I understood your question. Just be with me. So I'm going Docker attach, and I get inside this container. Remember, I'm inside this container. The IP address of this container is 2. Okay, I cannot run the command ipconfig. Why? Because there's some utility need to require. So you can install the utility if you want it. So what you can do, I have those utility which you can install it quickly. So those utility is, just update this. I'm updating it, okay, quickly. And after that, install this network related utility, so you can run the network command. Okay, now you see that. So here I just installed I'm inside the container. Remember, I'm inside the container, and you can install this utility if you want it. So let me write this command to you here. Docker attach and ID, and then this is the command to install the network related utility. If you're using RHEL, the commands will change all the stuff, so you know that, so I don't have to tell you all the stuff, but you can understand. Right now I'm inside the container. So now what is IP? Now it is not installed.
If config.
Yeah. So here if config, you see This is the IP address. I'm inside the container. Remember, I am inside the container. You got the IP address. I'm inside this. Can I ping it to another container from the inside the container? Yes, you can do that because you are in the same bridge. You are in the same bridge, Docker, bridge, and then because you are in the same bridge, that bridge is releasing the IP address, so you are able to talk to each other. All the containers can talk to each other. That's one thing. Can you ping to the Google? Let's look at this. See, you can reach out to the Google also. You can do the what do you say? So what is it? There's a route command, route CRT. What is that? I missed that. That command.
That is route minus n. The command is route minus n.
Trace route. Okay. So now can you trace route and see that from where? Look at this. Trace route you are doing through the Google. 888 is a Google default. So now it's hitting to this. Look at this. This is your gateway. Gateway bridge. This is the same bridge which I'm showing you here. Look at this here. Gateway. So basically you are hitting first to the gateway. Gateway hit to the IP address of your gateway of the EC2. Okay. And here AP South Mumbai region. Again, this hit to this region, this IP address, and from there it get out of their AWS infrastructure. Look at this. And then you reach ultimately to the Google gateway, public DNS. So this is the stuff which you can read out. So yes, containers is reachable with the internet, and also each containers can ping to each other and stuff like that. Now let me show you one more thing. I'll just clear the screen. Control PQ. I'm outside. Let me tell you one thing. If I do, right now I'm in the host. Guys, are you able to hear me?
Yes, Rajesh.
Yes, Rajesh.
Okay, cool. So now I'm on the host right now. Okay, look at this. Just observe that. I just type if config. Remember, if you can recall, when I had not started the Docker engine, I was having ETH and only one interface. How come I got, and when I started the engine, then I got this bridge. Now, when I created a container, then I got this interface. When I created another container, I got this interface. Let me create another container. One more container I will create quickly. So here I created another container. And let's look at this. I got another 1, 2, 3 interface. So basically these containers which you are right now running, basically the interface is created in the host machine only. Okay, host machine only. Okay, so that is very, very important. So now this interface basically is serving the containers with the help of the bridge which is called Docker Giro. Okay, now let's come back to this question which you have asked. Can you access the container IP address outside of the host machines? Let's represent this stuff. So I'll go to the MS Paint. Let's see this scenario. Here, this is my host machine. Okay. Now here, this is my bridge. Docker Giro, D0. Remember, the host machine IP address, which is accessible with ETH0, an interface you have it, all this stuff you have it. Okay, and one interface you have it. So you have a, let's say 10.5.5.4. I'm just putting the random number. Okay, so this is the IP address of your host. Now let me tell you, here when you created a bridge, then IP address which it become this one. Let me put it here. This is the IP address. Now when you create a container, this gives you the another IP address which is 2. This container got another IP address 3. Okay, like that you get n number of IP address. Let me tell you, very simple flow. this container, the IP address what you have is resolving to the virtual bridge, which is here. This is a virtual bridge. Here again, this is again resolving to the virtual bridge. Very simple. So basically, anything inside this VM machine, this virtual bridge can access it. But this virtual bridge is not accessible from outside. Why? Because scope is only limited to the local. Okay, only limited to local. So now Docker network ls, you see that scope is local for this bridge. So anything which is inside this machine, you get all the containers will be accessible to this bridge, only to this bridge. So if you have got two container only to this bridge, only this container will be accessible inside this bridge. You host will be able to access this container, and these containers can talk to each other, but it will not be accessible from outside, because for this bridge scope is local. So what you did last time, if you remember, that's the reason I have the only one notes for all this stuff. If you remember, I used to do this one, port mapping. What I used to do, this is running on 80 internally, 8080. This is also running on 8080 Jenkins services. So you do the exposing the port with the host. I'm very bad in drawing, sorry about this. So I'm exposing the port 8080 this container, and another container I'm 8080 to 8090. That's the first session I did, right? So now if you expose that container port to the host port, then you will be able to access that container. So whenever you expose you to 8080, automatically transfer will be done to the 8080 of that particular container. If you do 8090, then again this container will transfer through that interface. You have interface which I shown you, right? If config, look at the interface. This interface will take you to the inside the container 8080 like that. Okay, so did you understand this? So is that answer your question? If it is accessible or not?
Yes, I got your point.
Okay, good. So now it will not be accessible. Why? Because scope is local. Now, second question is, can we change the bridge? Very much we can do that. So let me do one thing. The question is, how can we create our own bridge? How can we create new bridge? The new bridge. So now, right now, remember the bridge which you have got it, the bridge Docker network ls, the bridge which you have got it, which was created by Docker. I want to create my own bridge. How can you do that? Very simple. Docker network create and bridge name Copart. I'm creating Copart dev. Copart dev. This is the bridge dedicated to the Copart. Okay. And now hyphen driver should be there. Hyphen driver. What is the driver name? Is equal to bridge. So here I just created another bridge. See here I got this Copart dev. The name of the bridge is Copart dev, driver is bridge. Now if I create a container, by default if you do not pass, see here you are not passing which bridge you wanted, so by default it will take the bridge. But if you create a container using this bridge, now you have to define what is a gateway here. So let's define same command. I'm going to run it, which you ran last time. Sorry, network ls docker inspect and then bridge ID, network ID. See, this is the one. You got the same range as different IP range, but you got a same set of host. So if you run this one, how many IP address you got it? Same 65,000. Okay. So now see that this is the different subnet you got it. CIDR range here. Earlier you had a CIDR range starting with, sorry, copy paste mistake. Earlier it was 17. Okay, here 17. Now you got become 80. Here gateway is first. Always remember the first IP address of your subnet is always a gateway, is reserved for the gateway as per the networking concept. So here first IP address is become your gateway. Now if you create a container, how can you create a container? Let's do that. I'm going to create another container. So where is that? So here Docker, first I'll write the command Docker network, instead of copy paste actually. Let me copy. So Docker network. So now I am going to create another container using the new network. Let's look at this. I'm going to create here. So here, if you want to create using the copart dev, then you have to give hyphen network. Okay, is equal to this one. So now let me create the container. So I'm having two containers running with the bridge. Now copart bridge, I'm going to run one container. It is a problem. What is the problem? The problem here is this option is should be here actually. Okay, Ubuntu. Now I got this IP. Here you see that overall 4 containers running. Out of 3 containers you are running with the bridge. 1 container you got running which is with the copart. How do you verify? Let's describe this. Inspect this. Inspect. See this here. Copart network copart dev, and see that this is the IP address. This IP address is not matching the IP address of Reg here. So can you ping it? So you can ping from the host. Let me show you. See, I can ping it from the host, that IP address. But when I get inside that container, so Docker PS, when I get inside this particular container, remember I'm getting inside the container which is created with the network which is called copart. Okay, so I'm inside this container. You can also run this command, verify. So I'm just running the command, and this utility is also I'm installing it. And now let's verify if config. See that here that 18 it's not matching with this. So can you ping this container? Let's look at this. You cannot. So ping, because both are in a different bridge. So you cannot ping. From the host you can ping to this all this container, because interface is why you are able to ping, because interface control PQ, you got the total how many? Total you got 4 containers, so that means host is having 4 interface. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. Because of that you are able to ping each container, but subnet of this and top 3 is different. So it's a bridge is different. So they are not able to talk. Each bridge is not able to talk to each other. So this is the way you have a bridge mode, bridge networking, and bridge is helpful. Releases the IP address to the containers, and then because of the bridge, every containers get the IP address. The scope is local, which is accessible. Is that clear? Any questions? Any doubts on this? Any doubts on this?
No, Rajesh.
Okay, so now, so far I talked about the network driver called bridge. Now you do have another driver which is called host and null. So let's define this. Host is another kind of driver. Basically, this driver mode shares the shares the networking of the host with the container. So basically, whatever you have in the host, it will be shared with the containers also. So let me do one thing. Let me clear all this process. So let me stop. Yes, Docker stop. container here, here, here. I stop all the container. Let me show you the interface. If config say, the moment you kill that container, the interface is going to disappear. Okay, so interface is only available, virtual interface, when the container is running. So Docker ps-a, you have to delete this. So rm, this one, this one, this one, this one. Now all the interface I do that ps-a, and now if config, look at this. Now everything is clean, Docker 0, 8, and all stuff like that. This is the one of the things it did not get clean because that's not be clean because that is for the different what to say, you have created one more, right, bridge, that is for this one. Okay, this one. So now everything is clear. So now let's talk about the host. So this driver mode share the networking of the host with the container. So for that, to prove it, I'm going to type if config. Show you if config, the IP address of you is this one. Okay, remember both, this is the host IP address. Host IP address is this one. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one more container. So this time container will be created, but not network. This is the wrong command. Okay, so here it should be. Now the container will be created using the network. The network would be host. The name of this host is host itself. So net is equal to host. Remember, I don't have any container. I'm creating the fresh container, and let me show you here. See that I have some. Again, I made the same mistake. I should have done it this one. So Docker ps-a, it's got created, but you have to stop. You have to delete just for clean demo, and I just do that one more time. Now container got created. You see that? Now I do inspect. Remember, I have created the container using the network type driver is equal to host. Remember. So now Docker inspect, and I do inspect. See, IP address is null. Here host, network, host links, driver is here host, and IP address is null. Rest of the things is null. So what has happened? Is it did not get any IP address? It's not happen like that. I said when you have a network type host, this will share the container will share the network with the host machine only. So now in order to prove that line, we'll have to get inside the container. So I am doing attach and getting inside the container. I'm inside the container. Remember, I was here. I just did I'm inside the container. To prove that I'm inside the container or not, see, IP address did not change. It did not come 07 something. But in order to prove that whether I'm inside the container or not, I will type Docker command. See, Docker command inside the container will not run. Simple, because it's installed on the host, right? So now you see that I'm inside the container. Now if I do if config, it will not work because I have to install the utility. Let me quickly install the utility. I'm updating, and then install the utility. Now I do ifconfig. Now you see that IP address is the same what I had in the host machine. See, this is the IP address. I got it. This was the interface which had it. This was the bridge which I had it in the host machine, and this was the another bridge which I had it in the host machine. So basically, I got everything as it is, but I got in the host. There's no difference. Now Control P Q. Now I have the same thing. So basically, when you create a container using the host driver, host network interface, Ethernet, bridge, whatever you have it, it will get mapped to the containers also. In a simple word, whatever you can do with the bridge, whatever you can do with this host, you can also do with the containers also, because both shares the same network, and this is how it is. Is that clear?
Rajesh, what are the advantages of using the host versus the bridge?
Yeah, so it's like this. When you advantages of, let me tell you one thing first here.
Okay.
When you want to talk about for the production server, then we hardly use these features. Okay, we don't use these features. We use the SWAM mode, load balancing mode and all, and we use the Kubernetes. Now, when you want to understand what is the advantage of having the host mode in Docker Engine, Community Edition, all this stuff, then I will tell you. Remember, bridge, when you go for the driver bridge, it creates the bridge and interface. Remember, each bridge and each interface consumes CPU and RAM, right? So now, here, there's no bridge created, there's no interface created, so there's no wastage of the CPU and RAM. Okay? So now that way you can do that. Same time, if you have a few containers which you want to run the container inside that, and after that you do the port forwarding. So rather than doing it, you can do one thing. You can run the here the container on the different port, and you don't need a port forwarding at all, port mapping at all. So
that was my next question actually. So when you're using a bridge mode, you'll be mapping port like 8080 to 8080, right? So the container runs on 8080 and you're mapping the host port to the container port for bridge adapter.
Yeah,
but
for
bridge
networking, you will not be able to run the same port multiple containers. Okay, because it share the same network. That means in a simple word,
run on separate port, right?
Separate port. In a simple word, you will not be able to run the Jenkins 2 times. Why? Because internally it run on 80 port.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So now,
but can you run Jenkins on a separate port like 8090 or something like that?
In that case, you have to modify the image itself.
Image. Okay. The image. Okay, got it.
Because it's hard coded with 8080.
Oh yeah, makes sense. Okay. Thanks, Rajesh.
Yeah. So now, third kind of network driver what we have is null. Null is a kind of network driver which do not share the host networking and also no bridge. In a simple way, if I tell you, this is not having any networking, no network. Okay, so in a simple way, you have a computer in your data center and you have unplugged the network wire. Okay, so here you do not get any network related services. That means, yes, container will be running, all the processes will be running inside the container, everything will be as it is, but without the network. Okay, you have not installed the Ethernet, you have not installed the interface, you don't have IP address, you don't have anything. Okay, so no network. So now let me prove this concept now. So right now I'm having one container, so let me clean that. So it's good to have the clean environment in the demos to avoid the confusion. So I'm just deleting this container right now, RM. Okay, and here what I do, you see that I don't have any container right now. Container. Now network Docker network ls, I'm having 4 total network, out of which 2 are bridge type, 1 is a host, 1 is null, which I'm going to try now. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do if config. Look at this, if config. So total, this is eth0 is for my EC2, LO is the interface which is connected my boxes to the AWS infrastructure. Docker 0 is one of the bridge which you have bridge, and this is the bridge which you have for the copart which I created in front of you here. So you have a 2 bridge total, virtual bridge, 1 for Ethernet, 1 interface. So 4 altogether, nothing new here. Now I am going to create one more container.
Rajesh, I have a question.
Yeah.
So when we are creating the network bridge with the Docker network create command, can we specify the IPs also? Like it's currently taking 172.
Yes, very much. Yes. You can specify the CIDR range also. All this subnet you can set it up also. Okay, so it's very easy. So network, and you do health, and here create health. Sorry, I created one more network by mistake. Just a second. Health network. Sorry, health network and health network. Just a second. I'm writing the wrong
dash help. No, Rajesh. Yeah, network create dash help.
Now you see that you can set the CIDR range using. See here. This is the one. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So using this option, you can set the CIDR range. Or also here, I guess, IP range you can see that subnet and IP range you can look at for this. Okay.
Okay.
Now, what I was trying to tell you, just a second, I forgot actually. Okay, by mistake I created on a new network bridge mode. So let me clean it up. That's not good actually. So here I'm going to delete this one. So Docker what is this? Docker network
RM
and
yeah, RM help. No,
so
RM.
it's RM network RM and health, and I should delete the co part also because it's not needed anymore now. Okay, so I just did it. Now I have everything is the default environment. So you can verify network ls and if config also. Now everything is Docker 0 and hello. Now let's create a container using the host null or driver null. Okay, and here let's run it. Okay, the same mistake I'm doing again and again. Blindly I'm running. No, this was correct. What is this? Network null not found. Okay, driver should be null, but name I just verify none. So none, name is null, none. So here net is equal to, it should be name. When you said driver, then here it should be the driver. So I got the type PS. I got delete this container. And I told you the state of the container, it got created, that running, and then exited, all the stuff I have already explained it to you. Now I got this container which is running. Now I do inspect as usual, Docker inspect container ID. Now you see there is no IP address given, and here network driver is none. Okay, now let me show you if config. See, there is no additional interface got it. So that means, see, when you created a container using the driver, it always create an interface, so you can connect that. to host. But now through the internet, there's no interface, so you cannot connect also. So there is no IP address also, there is no bridge also. So now what you have to do, there's only one way you can connect to that, container is Docker attach or exec. I get inside the container and you don't have IP address, so you can try to install and let's see what happens. It's not having any network. So when I try to update, look at that yourself. See, not able to reach to the Google internet. So this null is a kind of driver which basically prevents the container to talk to the internet. Control PQ, I got out of the internet, I got out of the container, and now, so you must be wondering what is the advantage of this mode. So basically this is one of the secured container which you can have it, where you get the processes up and running, output is you got it up and running, but this will not be accessible over there anywhere. So this is the three kind of network driver which is supported by the Docker. What is driver? One is a bridge, one is a host, and third one is null. Any questions around the null?
Oh, I'm good, Rajesh.
Okay, good. Anyone else has a questions?
No, Rajesh, I am also good.
Okay, now let's move on. Next statement which I said, Docker container processes in system. I don't know how many of you have observed or not, but this is a very important concept. Let me remind you, Docker top, you can't do that, container ID is not there. The Docker ps-a, as of now, stop. I'm just doing this, stopping this container and then removing this container. So now this become a fresh environment. Now nothing is there. Docker ps-a, you can see that everything is fresh. Now there is no container running. So now what I do, ps is a system command, ps-eaf, and I just type grep docker. See that right now you have one Docker D, which is basically a server which is running, and then one container related services which is running here. So altogether, total how many services you are running right now? You can count. Altogether 3. So what I do now, I am going to create a container. Let's look at this. I created a container. Remind you, I got one container which is running. See, 4. One more container, 5. One more container, 6. What basically is happening? The container which you think which is running here right now, you have 3 containers right now. Each of these create a process inside the host machine. What are those processes? Look at this. Look at this. These 3 processes which you got it because of the containers. Every time you create a containers, it create a new process. So basically this new process, if it is alive, your container is running. If it's not alive, your container is not running. So this is the way you can see that the Docker engine, I said one statement, Docker engine take the process map from the host, from the kernel, okay, and duplicate that. So basically this is the process map. So this is the one process map, parent process map created for this container, parent process map created for this container, and accordingly for this container. So this everything is in host machine only, but we believe it's running inside the container. No, this host machine is holding your process. That's the reason that container is running. So now I have defined 4 definitions of the container. One is container is nothing but a isolated user space. First day I defined, correct, with their own network, process map, mounts, and permission. How do you get to the Docker engine? With the help of the kernel namespaces. This is the first definition. Second definition, I said container is nothing but a writable layer, correct, of the image, of the running state of the image. Third statement, I said container is nothing but a running state of the image. Here, fourth statement, which I write now, container is nothing but a process running on the host machine to keep a container's PMAP alive. Did you understand this? Did you understand this?
Yes, Rajesh.
Yeah. So this concept, I have not show you the demo for this. Container is nothing but writable layers. I did not show you the demo because this demo will be pending. But this is what. So now we have covered the Docker networking and Docker host processes. Any questions? Anyone has it?
I'm good, Rajesh.
I'm also good, Rajesh. Rest we will once.
So now I'm going to share one notes. So the notes is already with you guys, but there's one more notes I would like to share with you, which has a multiple commands of the networking, and this is the one. So now let's do that. More networking commands to try it out the Docker scenarios here. Now I'm going to push this up in the FTP, and you know that where to get it. Anyways, I'll share that URL with you guys. So now I'm logging into that. And Docker Copart, and your nodes are accessible now at 2008 Copart, and now you can get started the lab. Okay, I've pushed this already. Let's start the lab with the two URL I've sent. One is the Copart nodes, and another one has a many commands related to the network, which will help you to understand, replicate all the stuff. Let's get started.
Oh, you have it in the same file.
What you said, I do not understand.
No, you put the link in the same page, right? Yes.
Right,
Thanks.
right, yeah. So you can stop the recordings because after this there's no topic, so unnecessarily that things will be there.